Got a comment? Think you've got the answer? Call now at 1-833-296-TALK. That's 1-833-296-8255. And here's more Mike Buck on AM 690 and FM 94.3. The Answer.
Yeah, and a happy Monday to you, no matter where you are. Interestingly enough, and thanks for our nice comments today about Keith Amamiya being with us this morning on our special on the road to Honolulu Hale, a blueprint to success, brought to you by the BIA, the Builders Industry Association of Hawaii. And and tomorrow, by the way, is John Carroll. Wednesday is Rick Langiardi. Ernest Carvalho is Thursday, and Audrey Keesting is on Friday in the 7 o'clock hour, brought to you by the BIA. Now, one of the members of the BIA, well, not one of them, one of the important members for me today in the BIA are our friends at Trade Publishing. Now, I don't know what field you are in, but there is a specific publication I know that you read every month that comes from Trade Publishing. They have been providing information for decades, and what a time to be doing this, particularly when we're counting on the construction industry in keeping us in pace with getting our economy back to the new normal. So what kind of news does the building industry Hawaii Magazine cover? You're going to find out. Joining us this morning on our Newsmaker line is Brett Alexander-Estes. She is the associate editor over there at Trade Publishing and gets to do all kinds of really neat stuff. And one of those, I hope, is going to be her time on the radio with us this morning. Hi, Brett. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. So nice to be here. Thanks for having us.
We are honored. I've known about Trade Publishing for a long time, and I've forgotten, but you folks are the epitome of somebody, really supplying niche markets with the stuff they need to have. How many different publications right now do you have in Trade Publishing?
We have three general, I guess you would call them targeted industry publications. One of them is Building Industry Hawaii, which of course goes to the construction industry. One of them is Building Management Hawaii, which goes to all people who manage large-scale buildings. And the last one is Hawaii Hospitality, which covers the hospitality industry.
And which is like huge. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gigantic. So we kind of cover the waterfront, you might say. We cover just about everything except maybe agriculture and more specialized fields like, aviation or whatever. So, we cover a lot of ground.
I do know one thing. Over the years, as it's osmosed into its present form, it has done a lot of shifting and shaking. And, we are looking at, and this is why the commitment, I guess, by the BIA is so specifically important right now as we try to recover. But I'm sure that you there can really put your thumb on things are doing, like, for instance, maybe how construction might be changing. How does Building Industry Hawaii show local builders how to profit from these changes, good or bad?
Well, Hawaii construction is changing very rapidly. It's much faster, more complex, and more expensive. The window of opportunity for any given project closes quickly. Government regulations and technical specifications are mind-boggling. Land development and other costs are escalating, and this was all true before COVID-19. So to make a profit, a Hawaii builder has to be smarter, quicker, and offer a superior product or service at a competitive price.
Yeah.
The builder also needs a competitive edge. Building Industry Hawaii provides a competitive edge. This starts with our sister publication, Bid Service Hawaii. Bid Service Hawaii, or Bid Service, posts the week's new bid requests from all the state's government contracting agencies. These include the Department of Transportation, the Department of Education, and county agencies like the City and County of Honolulu, to name a few. And bid requests for military projects.
What I find sort of fascinating about that, Brett, that I think is really cool, is that a lot of these people are really good at what they do, but they don't know how to go out and find the business. I mean, here, when you talk about getting that bid service put in your hand, you can think, wow, this is something doesn't it cut a lot of wheat through the shaft and actually save you personnel from having to go find these things because they're right there in the publication?
Absolutely. All the specs for any given project are right there in Bid Service. It outlines the scope of a project start and end dates, contract value, and other essentials. Even actual building plans like blueprints are available. Mm-hmm. And bid submission deadlines and contact information are also posted. And once the projects have been awarded, postings include the name of the contractor who won the award, when the award was made, and so on.
That's really cool because I'm, looking at in where my heart lies, and that's in the fishing business. We look at our Hawaii Fishing News. We look at Hawaii Boats and Yachts. We look at things that are specifically aimed at helping us, and the same thing must apply. And I saw one thing in a recent one of the recent publications that said how the dollar, the construction dollar, goes round and round and round our economy in Hawaii more than any other business. Those paychecks get spent the day they come in, and they go throughout every single facet of the business. That must be fascinating for people in your industry to be able to track that.
Well, I don't know that we actually track the dollar transfusion of construction projects. There are other agencies, state agencies like the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism that do that. But we can see the impact immediately because whenever there's a construction project in any given area, there's always a corresponding rise in commercial traffic in that area. For example, it's just common sense. If you've got a construction crew out there, you're going to have lunch wagons out there. You're going to have all kinds of other things that are attendant upon the activity taking place.
Yeah, I watched that. We watched that along Dillingham right now. Before that, it was out in Pearl City. But here's the thing that I find pretty interesting, and I know that you all are spending a lot of time on this. Right now, the spotlight is on the construction industry because everybody's been told you can't flip the switch and have 10 million tourists back here in a month. That's not going to happen. It's probably never going to happen. But in the meantime, aren't the developers and the contractors and other industry professionals coming into the magazine, Building Industry Hawaii, as their voice to find out what's going on, and more important, how to stay out in front of all this stuff?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Building Industry Hawaii's monthly COVID and Construction article series features COVID-19 best practices for Hawaii's building industry, and these practices are evolving daily. So, for example, in our latest issue, we give builders in Hawaii how they can comply with ADA laws when employees test positive for the virus, which workplace respirators are approved by federal regulators for protection against the virus, and how UVC light might be used to kill the virus on job sites. Beyond that, this Building Industry Hawaii advocates for very strong support for infrastructure projects across the national construction landscape and here in Hawaii. You're probably aware that there's a big push for infrastructure anyway because so many public transport facilities like roads, dams, bridges, whatever, are in bad need of repair. So despite the practical value of repairing these facilities, there's also the high dollar construction value that will provide a boost to the industry and to the U.S. economy as a whole.
Isn't it also kind of true in some respects, Brett, and you can address this anyway, and that is that, with these jobs that are coming out and with the placement of money right back into the system all of a sudden, it pales in comparison as to how fast can get up there with these, what they call these shovel-ready projects. Do you think that in some respects that a lot of our people that are running for office are going to turn to the building industry and say to them, look, if you help me get elected, we're going to make sure that these permits get out quicker, that you can get financing, that you can get these jobs done, because doesn't an awful lot really ride on the availability of, incentivizing some of our builders to go out and do these big projects?
Right. Well, I can't speak to how a particular industry is going to influence any election, but I can say that the candidates that I have seen interviewed so far, to a man or a woman, say that they will support the construction industry 100% and more, because they know that it not only has practical value in terms of helping the economy, but it also has, as you say, dollar value to individual constituents. So, yes, of course they're going to support it. I don't think there's any one candidate who says, I'm not going to support it.
Yeah.
Nobody would say that.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to take a short little break, take a look at traffic and something else. When we come back, Britt Alexander-Estes, the associate editor at Trade Publishing, is going to talk to us a little bit about maybe what some of Hawaii's most important and exciting projects are in this 2020. Maybe you don't know about them, but you will right after this check-in with Taizo. What's up, Taizo?
Aloha and good morning, Honolulu. From the Salem Media Traffic Center, I'm Tyzo Braden. It has definitely been a busy Monday morning commute on this National French Fry Day, if that makes you guys feel any better out there. Right now, the good news is we are starting to see traffic really clear up H1 Evabound right before Punahou. Earlier accident we had there in the westbound direction has been cleared, so all lanes are really starting to open up. No slowdowns from the east side commute along Kalani Anaole Highway. But we did have a lot of passing showers this morning. Still a bit slick as you head over the Ko'olau and, the Pali, the Like, or the H3. No accidents or stalls, but please just give yourself a little bit of extra stopping distance between you and the vehicle in front of you because of the slick roads. No accidents or stalls along Kahikili Highway. Our windward commute is A-OK in regards to just volume is moving normally. Middle Street merge is A-OK. No slowdowns there. No slowdowns at the H1, H2 merge through Pearl City.
Here in Hawaii, we're always on the move, but never out of touch. Introducing Spectrum Mobile. With their unlimited data plan for just $45 a month, you can save up to 40%, or choose their by the gig plan and pay for just the data that you use at just $14 a gig. Both have unlimited talk and text, taxes and fees included, and there are no contracts. Switch to Spectrum Mobile today. Call 643-9797. That's 643-9797. Restrictions apply. Check for details.
Aloha, I'm Rick Blangiardi. I led Hawaii News Now, making decisions every day with integrity and always putting the people of our community first. Today, we face economic challenges we've never imagined, and many of us will have to rebuild our lives, our jobs, and our communities. We must get ourselves and our city going again. I want to be with you every step of the way. My life's work has prepared me for this leadership challenge.
Paid for by friends of Rick Blangiardi.
We're Diamond and Silk, and we have a new book coming out called Uprising.
The Awakening of Diamond and Silk.
It's about how we overcame poverty and hardship by not letting anyone else define who we are, what we can do, or who we are supposed to vote for. And guess what? You can do it too.
That's right. And we want you to hear our personal story for the first time.
Uprising by Diamond and Silk, coming August 18th. Pre-order at Amazon or wherever books are sold.
AM 690 and FM 94.3 The Answer and the Building Industry Association of Hawaii present Election Time 2020 and one of the most contested, controversial, and colorful races in the city's history, featuring 15 candidates vying for the city's top seat, Honolulu's mayoral race. Join us every day, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. for the weekly installment of Heading to Honolulu Hale, a blueprint for success. This high-powered, debate-style forum will address questions that are important to you. Mahalo to BIA Hawaii.
Let's face it, we love Alexa, and we love to let her find your favorite radio station. We love it too when she finds us, but she could find us easier if we taught her a simple skill. To get started, simply say, Alexa, enable the Answer Honolulu skill. After she confirms, you can then say, Alexa, play the Answer Honolulu. That's all you have to do, and Alexa will learn how to find us. You can listen to us through your Amazon Echo, Echo Show, Echo Dot, and Amazon Tap devices. Alexa, what is your favorite radio station?
That's easy. AM 690 and FM 94.3. The Answer.
Want to join the conversation? Call us toll free. It's 1-833-296-TALK. That's 1-833-296-8255. Now, here's more of the Mike Buck Show on AM 690 and FM 94.3. The Answer.
Yep, and wash your hands while you're at it. Hope you're having a great Monday. We want to thank the BIA once again for stepping up and providing us sponsorship for Heading for Honolulu Hale. It's the blueprint for success. Every day, different mayoral candidates spending 1 hour with me in the morning. No holds barred. We've got a set of questions. We ask everybody the same questions and give you an opportunity to judge the candidates for yourself. Today it was Keith Amemiya. Tomorrow it's John Carroll. Wednesday morning it's Rick Blangiardi. On Thursday it's Ernest Carvalho. And on Friday, Audrey Kiesling joining us. All brought to you, like I said, by the BIA. Now the BIA relies on trade publishing, as trade publishing relies on the BIA, particularly when we talk to the monthly publication that involves all of them all the time. And that's pretty interesting. And because of that, I'm guessing, and that's what I wanted to ask Brett Alexander-Estes about, a little bit about the projects now, but I'm just kind of curious, Brett, how long you've been there and what circuitous route took you to where you are as the associate editor of trade publishing?
Well, I've been at trade now for 6 years, and I was initially drawn to trade because of Building Industry Hawaii, because The building industry is, by its nature, a very exciting business. It's a mix of the Wild West and Star Wars, and you can't help but be drawn to it.
Yeah, I get it. We do, as you know, a weekly show with the Atlas guys, and just the ongoing thing on building and redoing and ADUs and everything else. It makes people think of, hey, don't be down and dumpy because we're gonna get through all of this together. But what opportunities this brings? Can you give us a couple of examples of some of the larger projects or some of the more important ones that are going on right now that we maybe not think exactly how much it's doing for us and jobs and the economy?
Sure. Phase 2 of the Kapalama Container Terminal is going on right now. It upgrades the Kapalama Terminal Wharf and Harbor for bigger and faster container ships. This will speed delivery of Hawaii's imported goods. And just for the record, about 98% of Hawaii's imports are processed at Kapalama and other Hawaii harbors. And on the military side, Pearl Harbor is enlarging and expanding its dry docks. This is so Pearl can service the Navy's new larger Virginia-class submarines. 2 of the subs will be named after the USS Oklahoma and the USS Arizona, 2 battleships destroyed in 1941. And the new dry dock at Pearl will be its first new dry dock since 1943. Another very important military project is ongoing construction of the U.S. Army Command and Control Facility at Fort Shafter. On the commercial side, everybody's familiar with how Kaka'aka's former industrial neighborhood has been transformed into Ward Village, a 60-acre complex of elegant residential high-rises and parks. The same sort of thing is happening now in Kapiolani Boulevard. A lot of residential, hotel, and mixed-use skyscrapers are currently under construction, including the Mandarin Oriental, Sky Ala Moana, Azure, and others. The value of the Mandarin Oriental alone has been reported as $1 billion. Sky Ala Moana is valued at about $500 million, and Azure is valued at about $300 million. All of them, except for possibly the Mandarin, will provide housing from affordable rentals to luxury condominiums.
Boy, I tell you, Brett, that's so exciting because particularly in my neck of it, what we do is we're around the neighborhoods and we see the dumpsters out in front and we see remodels and ADUs and all of that stuff. And sometimes you fail to understand that those construction trucks that are at a residential area are also at these huge properties, what you're talking about, which not only puts, millions and millions and millions of taxpayers' dollars out there, but it sounds like to me that certainly the Navy's making a commitment, certainly Kaka'aka, the harbor's making a commitment, and everybody wants to be part of what the future is. That must make you all feel pretty good about, we're not all doom and gloom. A lot of us are pretty optimistic about it, the opportunities that are out there for us now.
Right. A lot of our contractors feel exactly the same way. They say and they acknowledge that the COVID-19, poses significant problems, but they feel that Hawaii construction is well positioned to take advantage of the current lull in visitor traffic because builders can now upgrade Hawaii hotels and resorts and boost the state economy through large-scale infrastructure and military projects.
Well, it's like we allude to this all the time. We talk about the DBP, Department of Planning and Permitting, being on everybody's radar. Everybody that's running for office wants to help make improvements there. But I also think that maybe people ought to realize that what sounds like doom and gloom is like what you talked about. There's opportunities there, but also there's money and it's available and the rates are so competitive. I don't think our contractors and our builders have seen rates as low in decades.
That's very true. That's exactly true, and that helps support construction. And so that's one of the reasons why so many projects right now are taking advantage of this window of opportunity to get started. One of the construction executives in our latest Top 25 Hawaii Contractors article said, quote, "As we work through the pandemic protocols and the state begins to reopen, we believe we can expect the construction industry to remain busy. There is talk of even more infrastructure and stimulus work coming down the pipe from the public and Department of Defense sectors over and above what was already planned." Building Industry Hawaii published this executive's prediction about a week ago, and since then, State of Hawaii Department of Transportation has awarded a new $146 million contract for renovations of lobbies in the baggage claim area at Daniel K. Inouye International Airport. So this stuff is going on all the time. And for other developers who are outside of the public sector, they see Hawaii as a great opportunity for them right now. because, as you said, interest rates are low, and because of the lull in visitor traffic, there's the opportunity for them to take advantage of the lull and get work done.
Yeah, I actually read something in a few issues back. I forget what month I picked up, but it was a story about how we're talking about transit-oriented development and how the elections in 2020 were going to steer a lot of our legislators at the city and county or state levels to incentivize the TOD, the transit-oriented development, because that seems to me like a whole group of opportunities that didn't exist before that project came along.
Absolutely. Transit-oriented development doesn't get much press, but it encourages development and construction along the rail route by issuing special building permits and encouraging public-private development partnerships in those areas. Those condominium and skyscrapers that I mentioned, Azure and Sky Waikiki, both of those are a result of transit-oriented development building permits. And those building permits allow those particular developments to have special allowances for height, density, and so forth. And they're only available because they're located along the rail route. And another new area that's going. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to tell you, and I found this to be really neat as an adjunct to what you're saying, is we're talking to some people the other day that are looking for lower cost transit TOD so that they can get away with having as many parking restrictions because they don't anticipate that a lot of people that live in there are going to want to have a car. They don't care. They want to be close to the public transport, which is they are, and they want to be walking distance to shopping and all of that stuff, and they are. So that means some families might get away with not having 2 cars or 3 cars, just one, or in some cases, some of the millennials, they don't even want a car anymore. So doesn't that improve rather a contractor's ability or developer's ability to get a project done on time and within budget?
Right. Parking is always a big consideration, and it's always a big, I guess you'd call it a headache many times, with particular projects, because they have to have a certain density for certain areas, and if it's foreseen that a certain area won't have that density, and that means that that contractor saves that much more money by not having to put a gigantic parking garage next to his project.
Yeah, that's really, and it makes a lot of sense, gang, and it's already been shown in other places that there are other municipalities where a huge, more than 50% of some of these folks that are renting these places don't have a car and don't want one. They'd rather spend the money on restaurants or saving the money or retirement plans rather than having extra wheels in a garage somewhere.
Right, or reinvesting the money in local investment vehicles to further bolster the economy. That's another great offset of not having to drive a car, and that was apparently one of the reasons that rail was even considered in the first place, because urban planners could see if you continue to have cars, you're going to continue to have problems. So let's figure out the most effective way to short-circuit this process.
Yeah, I know one thing, gang. If you are in the building industry, you are already reading and getting Building Industry Hawaii. They're your voice, and it's as simple as that. And I want to make sure that we really thank Brett Alexander-Estes for joining us this morning. Like I said, she is the associate editor. Must be a pretty optimistic, half-full glass of place to work these days, knowing that we're starting to turn things around, getting back to, some financial security in Hawaii, thanks to the building industry.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's great to see that the building industry is being, I guess you could say, supported by the state. As you know, the state deemed construction an essential activity and exempted it from the COVID-19 lockdown. So that's a great thing.
Yeah, you bet. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Brett. Continued success to everybody there. I know it's a niche market that you are doing in several areas, but boy, it's also important to giving people, putting facts in their hands right away. Particularly, I like that thing that you taught me about today, the bid service. That's fascinating.
Oh, thank you so much. Bid service is one of our flagship things, and we really stand behind it. Thanks so much for your time. We really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Brett. Okay. Also thanks to Dr. Scott Miskovich earlier, Keith Amemiya running for mayor, Bill Brennan, spokesman for Hart, and Andy Robbins, the executive director. I've had a busy day in Hawaii. Thanks, Chaz. Thanks, Josh. I'm Mike Buck. See you tomorrow. Aloha. Kakaya.